How do you know if the law is for you? If you're a student who's thinking about taking a career path in law, then this is for you. Guys, I am Nompilo Omanya Kudirwa, a lawyer who enjoys cooking and trying new recipes, a wife and a mom. And we've been talking a lot about family law and administration of estates, but the young people also on my timeline have been asking these questions in terms of just wondering which path they should take with their career. I just want to address that very quickly, just sharing personally how I ended up practicing law. Actually, having clarity around your career path is a privilege that not many people have, especially for people that come from underprivileged backgrounds. Sometimes the idea is just to make it out of poverty. The idea is to just have a job. Sometimes it's not even about pursuing your interest. Sometimes it's about what career path brings money and help me to be self-sustainable very fast. It's not even about what are my interests, what are my strengths. And for me, actually, I was very lucky because I had a very strong community support from my family and others who helped me to think about my career, think about my future, think about my strengths. Actually, I learned in Drishavane Mandava High School. That's where I did my high school. And I was obviously a very smart student, in case you've not noticed. Jokes, guys. I was in a science class, which is what happens in most schools, actually, especially in Zimbabwe. When teachers see a student that they think is a smart student or is an academically gifted student, normally that student is in the science class. So I was in the science class, but I'll tell you right now, I never enjoyed science. I did not enjoy biology. When we would go for the physical sciences classes, I would not even experiment. I'll just be sitting in the background. Others would be on the burner, they'll be doing all these things, they'll be mixing colors, they will be producing all those reactions. I was normally just sitting in the back, not enjoying that at all. But what I did enjoy was reading. I loved reading, and lawyers read a lot, actually. Lawyers read a lot. You read case law, you read the statutes, you read books, you read a whole range of things. Lawyers are some of the people that read the most, in addition, of course, to people that are in the academia. I knew I enjoyed reading. I also knew I enjoyed writing. Lawyers write a lot. You write, especially if you are focusing on civil law. Civil proceedings involve a lot of paperwork. Lawyers are always drafting most of the time as well. Heads of argument. Also, there's that component of writing. I recognized my strength in writing as well. But then there's another component also, which was around speaking. I enjoyed public speaking. I enjoyed debate. So I did see myself as someone who would enjoy making submissions in court, although obviously later on in my career I decided to branch out and focus on a different field of law that doesn't require me to be going to court. But I did recognize that I enjoyed also talking and making submissions. And actually during my time in high school, I was even in the junior parliament. I was once a junior parliamentarian for Zushani Ngezi constituency. So the idea of being a legislator was there as well. I could see myself actually being a parliamentarian and making laws. But of course, what happens with lawmaking on the ground is different from what we'll be thinking with you, especially in high school. But what helped me to decide my career path was realizing my strength, realizing where I'd best be aligned. So actually, also I had the support. My mom was a very strong support system, but also even my teachers, especially my English teacher, Mr. Zulu. Shout out to Mr. Zulu. When I had just finished secondary level and I had 8 A's and 2 B's, I remember the conversations around next level, what subject should I take? And my science teachers thought it was befitting for me to join the science classes. Lots of my teachers, even from the family as well, there were some people who did want me to be a doctor. I eventually married one, and I think that covers for it. But I remember Mr. Zulu was one of the people who was very strong, actually encouraged me to identify my strengths and my interests, and that's how I ended up doing arts. But especially in the Zimbabwean landscape, people who do arts are not very much, they're not respected. People who do sciences are the ones that are respected, even in high school. People who do arts, people who do history and divinity and English literature or Shona, those people are looked down upon. People who do arts, no one is high regard for them. Like on the ladder, on the pyramid, on the hierarchy of subjects, you'd have the sciences people with their white coats, and then you have the commercials people, and then eventually there's us, the arts people. But actually, I think for me, there was strength in realizing my interest, in realizing my capabilities, in realizing my strengths. That's how I ended up doing law, and it was one of the best decisions ever. And what I've realized with law is that it's a very versatile program. Like, lawyers are everywhere, guys. And maybe I should do another video where I talk about the fields where I've seen lawyers thriving. Lawyers are everywhere. Everybody needs a lawyer. Businesses, even doctors, they need us when they're dealing with medical negligence cases, like medical law, everything. We are there, we are everywhere as lawyers. So I think the best way to do it is to identify your strengths, identify your interests. It's good to also think economically, what is sustainable in my environment, because also some fields, some programs are not very useful in some spaces, especially in the global south. There are some programs that are not advanced unless you're aiming, especially from the sciences side, if you're aiming to be working in the global north, some programs make sense. But if you're aiming to be in the global south, some programs don't make sense. So thinking about your career, I think the best way is to think about your interests and your strengths, but also what your goals are. Geographical scope is actually very important. Unfortunately, especially for us in the third world countries, there's just some programs that are not useful in our environment. So it's also a good thing to think about. But as far as the law is concerned, and personally for me, it was just a case of looking at my interests and my strengths and deciding this is where I want to be.